This coffee is lukewarm. If you know, you know. Hi you guys, welcome here. If you're new here, my name's Bethany. I'm the girl behind Well Loved Knits. And let me tell you, I have had quite a time trying to sit down and film this podcast for this week. Yesterday, I sat down. We had a really nice chat, you and I. Only to find out 30 minutes in that I didn't press the record button, which was very tragic. I know a lot of us can relate because there are a lot of knitting podcasters out there that I feel like have done the same exact thing. And that just kind of embodies where my head's at right now. And I'll just leave that there. But I'm really happy to sit down and chat with you guys. I have the baby napping and I wanted to take a little bit of time to myself and, chat about some projects that I've been working on. So I'm really excited to do so and share those with you guys because, I've got some things to share, which is great. I mean, nothing like too crazy, but I wanted to take some time out of my day and just talk knitting. So yes, I have some finished objects, some works in progress, and even some acquisitions that I wasn't really expecting to have. So yeah, we got a full episode here. So sit down, grab your knitting, grab your crocheting, sewing, whatever it is that you want to do, and let's get into it. So yes, what I'm wearing is probably what I should start out with, being a good podcaster and all. So this is my Wednesday sweater that I recently finished by Petite Knit. This is something that I shared with you guys in my last catch-up video that I had finished and I had blocked, and I wasn't really happy with the fit of the piece. I was a little disappointed because when I was talking about my fall knitting plans, what I wanted something that was oversized and really like a nice big hug that I can wear in the winter months, fall, winter months. And that was in my mind this cardigan. That was in my mind this sweater, and when I cast it off and blocked it, I only found that it just didn't fit me the way that I wanted it to. But as you can see, I'm wearing it today, and I'm proudly wearing it today because I blocked it a second time like I mentioned I would, and it fits a lot more comfortably. I feel like it's not too snug in certain areas, and I just find that the overall fit suits me a lot more. This is knit with Filcolana Highland Peruvian wool. I wish I had the labels to share because I got questions about what colors they are, and honestly I don't remember, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to look it up later and hopefully that information will be linked in the description so you can know what wool color this is. And then I used the Filcolana Tilia. It's a darker purple, and I really love the combination together because you can see maybe that there's just like some subtle variegation in the fabric. So pairing those slightly different color tones makes this really, interesting fabric. And I really like it. I wanted like a dusty purple sweater in my wardrobe. This is a little bit more deep, but I think it's really flattering. I really love it. Purple is definitely one of the colors that I want to be wearing right now, and I'm really happy. One thing that I wasn't too thrilled with I should have known because it's part of the design, it's a key feature, is this really high folded over turtleneck. And in the sample it's there, but it just looks a lot more cozy and comfortable than I feel like it turned out for me. I was mentioning that the neckline feels a little bit more neck bracey, and I think the reason for that is due to it being knit and twisted rib, which just makes a tighter, more close-knit fabric. So it really like squeezes in on the neck, and that was something that I wasn't too thrilled with, but I know that over time it's just going to keep stretching out and stretching out. By complete accident, when I put it on today, it kind of folded in on itself even further, so like double folded almost, and I kind of like it. I think it looks kind of cute. So I decided to wear it like that today. So it's nice because it kind of keeps it away from the very, very high parts of the neck, which I just find gets irritated a lot more than my lower half. Like normally I'm not very sensitive to mohair or wool, like the itchy factor, but only right up here is it really something that bothers me. So that was something that I noticed as soon as I tried it on the first time. But now that it's kind of loosening up a little bit, I think that won't really be an issue. And I'll really like the high neck in wintertime when it's a lot colder. It's definitely crisp outside, but not cold enough to really want to have like that high neckline and lots of layers. So this is a good happy medium, I think. A good compromise until it's time to go to more cold weather outfits. So yeah, I'm very happy with it now. Definitely recommend giving a second block to anything that you're not 100% happy with when it's first off the needles, because maybe that will just help it out, you know, and maybe some rough wear. I was definitely stretching the different ends of my sweater, and honestly, don't come at me, but I was also putting this on a hanger. I did store it on my clothing rack on a hanger because I wanted it to just stretch out even more. So that's also another tip. I know you're not supposed to do that with sweaters, but it worked out. And I'll keep doing it until it's in a good position for me, I think. I'm not too bothered by that. So we got that out of the way. Let's get into some finished objects, which I have to admit aren't all that exciting. The first one I'm personally just excited about because I'm breaking my bad habit, which is to leave socks unfinished. So I want to say I don't do these podcasts very often. I do, you know, other videos, but don't do these traditional knitting podcasts very often. So the last one was in August. And that's when I shared with you guys this sock, one of them. It was this one that I had started working on, which is just a simple vanilla sock. I use the everyday sock pattern by our favorite Petite Knit. And yeah, I was just working on this one. It was kind of just a, let's cast this on and have it, because at the time I was going to movies a lot in the movie theater, and it's just amazing how you can walk in, knit mindlessly, and then walk out of the movie and you basically have a sock finished. So I was really excited about that and really into that. So I wanted to work up a sock, and that's how, anyway, this is way too much explanation. I wanted to knit this one in particular because I had gotten the fiber. The yarn is Patton's Croy sock yarn in the mid-century colorway. And it was something that I had gotten, my mom had brought it to me from the US because you can't actually order it here. And it was something I discovered when I was doing one of my free pattern lineups. I discovered the yarn and I was like, wow, that's really pretty, love the colors. I just thought it looked like a lot of fun, and I'm really into self-striping yarn right now, for socks especially, well, only for socks, because that I think really helps me get through knitting the sock. I know socks don't really take that long, but you know, self-striping yarn just makes it feel like such a joy and just flies off the needles because you're always trying to find the next stripe. I kind of stalled on this, actually. I just recently finished this one, and then I cast on and just worked up this one because I've been having, this is a theme, chaotic cast on energy. That's what I'm calling it. Because I've destashed, I've organized, not very well, but as best as I can, and I'm trying to consolidate all of my yarn into just this cabinet right here, and as organized as possible. I don't really want it to overflow, and I still feel like I'm overwhelmed by the amount of yarn that I have that I haven't gotten to touch and work up. I think it's really just, it's not that it's too much yarn, it's just that it's too much yarn for me to work up, and I kind of want to invite more yarn into my life, but I feel guilty doing that and overwhelmed doing that if I haven't even been able to knit up what I already have. So I was in this cabinet looking, and I found a half-finished sock, and I was like, oh gosh, well, I need to cast that or finish it. So I said to myself, I need to finish that, and I did. And then I immediately cast on the other sock because my bad habit, leaving socks unfinished. I knew I needed to put a lot of attention into it, and you know what? I did. And now I have a finished pair, which is really great because I've been really loving hand knitted socks right now. I only have maybe 2 or 3 that I've successfully finished, but I've been wearing, and I'm wearing some right now. I've been wearing them because my feet are chilly. You know, I love watching knitting podcasts because you just learn a lot of new things. And one thing that I kept hearing from a lot of knitters is that you can't really beat the coziness of a knitted pair of socks. Like, they just don't warm your feet, or store-bought socks just don't warm your feet like knitted socks do, hand knitted socks. And I have to say, it's so true. I've only have a couple of pairs, like I said, and I've just been wearing those exclusively because they just keep my feet so much warmer. So I was really happy to finish these and really prioritize these to get them off the needles because I needed some more. And throughout winter, I really just want a lot of socks. Hand knitted socks by me. So I hope my sock mojo kicks in. I want to be a sock knitter. I try. Doesn't always happen. So I have a finished pair of socks. That was a lot for this vanilla sock right here. But I'm very happy that they're off the needles and they can go onto my feet now. Yes, okay, so another thing that I've recently finished is also quite small, and another accessory. Who would have expected, because I'm not an accessory knitter. It's this little hat right here. This was just on a whim as well. This is stash yarn also. Trying to get it out of my life. It's amazing. When Arthur was born, we had quite a bit of hats. We were like, wow, we have so many hats. How are we gonna put our baby in all of these hats? Will they get all the attention that they need? But it's amazing that they seem to all have just disappeared. I don't know where all of his hats have gone. 2 of them he outgrew because they were newborn sizes. But then there's still a lot out there that I just don't know where they went. And so I decided I wanted to knit up a hat for him because he needed one. And here we are. So this is loosely based off the Oslo hat by Petite Knit. It's just a double folded brim beanie. And I think it looks really cute. This is knit up with Rico Design Baby Merino. This is a different color that I purchased over the summer. I had something else in mind for all of the colors that I had purchased. But, you know, we have lofty goals and we don't always get to them. So I decided I just wanted to use up the yarn. It was available. I'm going to use it. So I cast on. I will say that I didn't follow the pattern. The only thing, I just followed the construction, but as far as stitch count and everything, I did my own thing. I will say that I did 10 less stitches than the baby size, because the baby size, this head circumference, was way too big for where he's at right now. So it was designed for a much older baby, so I just winged it. I wung it. And I cast on 10 less stitches, and it's not perfect distribution for the decreases, but whatever, it was quick and dirty. And I just knit in the round and followed the rest of the pattern as it was, save for the fact that this brim right here was supposed to be much thicker in the pattern, but I just decided to follow one of the other hats that he has and just go for a shorter brim. I think I will reknit this and do a thicker brim. I think that would also be very cute. But for this first draft of a hat, I'm happy with how it turned out. I think this little green is very cute, and it used up some of that yarn that I had in stash. Although I'm kind of kicking myself a little bit because I should have chose another color, because I actually did have something else in mind for this green. So I'm a little disappointed that I basically used up a pretty good chunk of the skein. It comes in these like tiny 50 gram or 25 gram balls. And I used maybe over a half, maybe 3/4 of it. So that's pretty good for this tiny little thing. I just should have used maybe this color because I want to knit up and I'll talk about this more later, but I want to knit up the holly sweater by Knitting for Olive, but at a tighter gauge so that maybe it might fit him a little bit better because the smallest size is a year old. And I was thinking about using this green for the leaves of the holly motif. So I have to go buy more because I forgot about that and I just cast on with this. Whatever. Anyway, he has a cute hat. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I think it's so precious. And I hope it fits his head really well. I just blocked it. Another thing though, with this yarn, it says that it's recommended for 3.5 to 4 millimeter needles. And I used a 3, and the gauge is pretty loose. So I don't know. And this is after blocking as well. So it's superwash wool, so it's not really gonna bloom all that much. I don't know, I just thought that was weird. Because I'm usually a tight knitter, so I just thought that the gauge being so off like that was a little strange. But those are my 2 finished objects. 3 if you want to count the sweater, even though I already told you guys about that one last time. So let's go into whips. So as far as whips go, basically the same things that I shared last time, but I have a lot of progress, especially on my zipper sweater, because this one has a pretty strict deadline, and I wanted to make sure that I meet that deadline for the first time ever. So here we are. You can see it a lot better. So you can see that I finished the yoke and I moved on to the sleeves, and I finished both of the sleeves actually. And I think they're super long, but it's not for a woman's size, it's for a man's size, so that kind of makes sense. Yeah, so I have finished the sleeves, and now all I have to do is knit in the round for the body, and then this thing will be done. So I'm pretty ahead of schedule, I would like to say. I'm very proud of myself, which also kind of made me want to cast on other things, but we'll get into that. Yeah, not much to say other than the fact that I'm happy that I'm ahead of schedule in a way. So I'm feeling very confident that I can finish this by Christmas. It's not even middle of November right now, so we have plenty of time to knit the body. And that's why I did the sleeves first, because I wasn't sure how long the body would take me, and I knew that the sleeves would be knocked out pretty quickly at that small circumference. And you know, normally when you finish the body, you get kind of tired with the sleeves. And it just seemed like the smarter thing to do, and I'm really happy that I decided to do that. I don't normally do that with my sweaters, but I might have to make that a habit because it worked out very well. I'm a little concerned about the fit, I have to say. I'm knitting a large, and I will admit I didn't knit a swatch, and I didn't really measure any of his other sweaters. I just know what I buy him at the store. So I was thinking, you know, if I buy him a large at the store, could be pretty safe to knit him a large. Also because I had gotten some feedback saying that someone has knitted this and it turned out very large. So I was like, okay, that's pretty safe. But then I started talking to other people and they were like, it actually leans a little bit more fitted. So I don't know who to believe. But I am starting to think that maybe this is going to be a little bit more form-fitted than I was expecting it to be. Which I don't think he'd mind all that much because, I mean, he wears like, you know, like those sports zip-up things, and those are quite form-fitted, so I'm thinking that it might not be a big issue. But then again, this is knitted and it doesn't have a lot. It's soft, but there is maybe a small itch factor. So that could be an issue. I'm not 100% sure about that. But we're just gonna keep going and really hope that it all works out. My game plan, though, is to start knitting the body a little bit more and then kind of compare to another sweater. I mean, the stitches are kind of scrunched up on this cord right here, but not all that much. So you can see it it doesn't look that wide. So it does kind of concern me. What I could always do, if I'm seeing that it's not going to be wide enough, I think I'll just continue the raglan increases for a little bit on the body just after I split for the sleeves. So frog all the way back and then just continue. I've never really done that before, but I know some designs are like that, so it shouldn't really be a big deal. So that will be my quick fix if it doesn't work out. Yeah, otherwise, not so bad. I really like working with this Drops Nepal. That's what I'm working with. So here's the yarn right here. Drops Nepal. Very, very cost effective for knitting a sweater of this magnitude. I had to purchase like 16 balls. And I think it only cost me like $45 or something like that. And I think it was on sale as well. So this is a pretty good, hello. Yeah, this is a pretty good choice, I think, for this sweater. Normally, the sweater called for holding one strand of wool and one strand of mohair. I think my gauge is a little loose because I opted not to knit with mohair because I just didn't think you would like it. But I don't think it's really affecting too much the garment. The sleeves are definitely a nice dense fabric, but that's just because you knit tighter in a smaller circumference. I definitely noticed that the fabric for the body is and the yoke is a little bit looser, but I think after blocking it should be fine. Again, I didn't knit a swatch, so I'm not 100% sure. That's my own fault though. Anyway, it's the thought that counts, so we'll see how this turns out. I'll keep you guys posted, of course. I definitely finished the sleeves a little bit more ahead of schedule, so I kind of celebrated and cast on some things. But before I tell you that, I just want to give a little bit of an update on my shawl, which I almost lost some stitches there. I put it on this little cord right here because it's not my active whip, but I did put a progress keeper to show you that I did get a little progress done. I mean, this is what I was saying last time. It's just not very convenient to knit on, so it hasn't been getting a lot of love just because I'm working with 3 strands of this beautiful superwash yarn from Manos del Uruguay. I just really love the colors of these, and I think they look really nice together, but as you can see, despite my best efforts, it's just challenging working with multiple strands. It just makes the project very difficult to carry around. So I just haven't been giving it all that much love. It just stays in one corner of my apartment and I work on it when I'm sitting in that corner. Otherwise, I opt for more portable projects that are obviously just working with 1 or 2 strands of yarn. That's just so much easier to pick up and move. But this one doesn't really have much of a deadline. It's really just let's work on it. And I'm kind of enjoying taking this one slow. This one definitely tells a story. This is a whip that will have fond memories because I was telling you guys last time that my head is just not in this project. Like, I zone out when I'm working in half fisherman's rib, apparently, because I was telling you that I was not being very, I was not paying attention to my increase rate, and I was doing it wrong for a little bit. So you can see that it's a little wonky, especially at the bottom. But then I tightened up, paid attention, and I started doing better. Although here and there, I am messing up the increase rate. So it's those little things that are added into the project, right? But not only am I messing up the increase rate, I'm now messing up the stripe pattern. So you can see here that some of them, it's not the same rate. So what I've been doing is every 4th row, I've been alternating between my contrast colors, which is this one right here and this one right here. So this is like a coppery color, and this one has a mix of very beautiful autumnal tones. I really love it. And then my main color is just a deep plum. So I was like, oh gosh, well, I've been messing that up too. But then I made myself feel a lot better because I really only have 3 strands. I don't have a second skein of this. So I realized actually, since I've been alternating, this is my main color. Since this is my main color and I only have 1 skein of it, eventually I'm gonna run out of this before I run out of these 2 contrasting colors. So anyway, at the end, the stripes are gonna be completely different because this is just a project where I'm going to just knit until I don't have any yarn left. So by the end, I'll just be alternating between these 2 and won't have any more of my main color. So the stripes are gonna look very different, and I kind of love that. I think it's gonna be really cool to see how that ends up turning out. I hope it looks good. But anyway, this is gonna be a piece that really tells a story, and it will be very made with love. It will be made with love, that's for sure. And I've just been really enjoying, yeah, like I said, taking my time, not really worrying about it. I would love to get this done before the end of the year, but as I continue to make increases, that thing is just gonna get bigger and bigger, and the rows are gonna take longer and longer, so not gonna rush on it. Yeah, so those are the 2 whips that I had last time, but since I was on that finished sleeve high and my chaotic cast on energy really kicked in, I have another thing that I started working up. So, and it's in this project bag here. So like I said, I had the chaotic cast on energy. And I, in my fall knitting plans video, was talking about this combination right here. It's just a combination of yarn that I've been dying to work up, but I just keep saying, okay, soon I will do that. I will do that soon. Once I do this, I will get that done. And it's always just put off into the future. And I said, enough is enough. I'm gonna cast on with this combination right here. So this is the Knitting for Olive mohair and merino that I've had in my stash for quite some time. Just to give a quick recap of what it is, this right here is yarn that I purchased actually for my wedding. I wanted to knit something for my wedding. It didn't actually happen. And by the way, my anniversary is in a week. So I'm gonna be happy to be working this up. I purchased this merino after I didn't end up knitting anything for my wedding. I knew that I was never going to wear I knew I wasn't going to wear a garment that was made only of mohair. So I purchased this merino to combine the 2 together and make a garment because, you know, this is just a great combination, these 2 fibers together. So in my fall knitting plans video, I was talking about knitting up the Monday sweater, but when it came to it, when I wanted to cast something on, I was very hesitant to do so. I don't know, I just kept looking at the pictures and I was like, is that what I want to have in my wardrobe? And I was just very hesitant about it. So much that I was going back and forth, and eventually I was just like, I took 2 pictures, the Monday sweater and then the no frill sweater, which was an original plan for this fiber combination. I took those 2 pictures and I showed it to my husband. And I was like, okay, look at these pictures. What do you think? Which one is better? Which one should I knit? And he said the no frill sweater. So I said, okay. And I'm totally fine with that. I cast it on. I haven't gotten very far, but I finished up the German short rows and I'm on to the increases. And we got a little tiny yoke of a sweater. I don't really know how to show this off, to be honest. The cables are not cooperating. But there you can see a very tiny yoke of the no frill sweater. You know, my German short rows are kind of messy here. You can really see them. It's kind of irritating. It bothers me, but not enough to really frog and try and fix it. I'm just hoping that maybe after all is said and done, it gets hidden a little bit more. I don't know what I did wrong. So that's discouraging, but not enough again to start all over. So I'm just, on a yoke. And I think this is the right choice because it's definitely a lot more versatile than the Monday sweater. There was something about the neckline of the Monday sweater that was making me hesitate. I don't know why. In some pictures it looked good, and in other pictures it was sitting up in a way that I just really didn't like. And I wasn't sure what was going on there, because it wasn't just for one sample, it was for multiple. And then I was just like, I'm not really sure. And then when Roz told me that he thinks I should go for the no frills, I was like, you know what? That's what I originally intended for this, and that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, another garment for me. I'm hoping that I will be able to give some love to this. I think committing the fiber to a project has kind of helped calm my mind down a little bit in terms of how overwhelmed I was with the fact that it's been in my stash for so long. Like I said, I'm just looking at all of the yarn that I've had for over a year plus, 2 years even, and I'm just like, how have I not worked up something with that? I'm really struggling with that. I know I think, you know what, all said and done, I am a pretty fast knitter. Granted, I was working on a lot of baby knits this year, so that definitely took away from my personal stash. But, you know, even still, with as much as I can get done, I seem to just not be able to make a dent and work on the fibers that I've had for a really long time. And that just makes me sad, because not only do I want to invite new fibers, I also want to use the fibers that I had big plans for. I definitely have projects for a lot of the things that are in there, and just not enough hands. So committing this to a project, I think, definitely made me feel a little bit better. But I continue to cast on. And this one I just cast on yesterday because I caught up with my pal Andrea Mowry on her I'll Knit If I Want To. And I cast on her new sock pattern. So she released the Bear Paw socks, which is a DK weight version of her everyday socks. I also have the everyday socks pattern, but I haven't worked up socks with it yet, because, you know, they're socks and I'm me. But I was like, you know what, a DK weight, that's no big deal. I've knit up the Sunday socks before, which I think is also a DK weight sock pattern. And those worked up pretty fast. So I was thinking, you know what, I can crank those out. And she knit them with 2 strands held together. So I was like, oh, that's another opportunity to stash bust. So I was looking in my cabinet and I was thinking, what yarns would look really nice? I have a lot of sock yarn, actually. For somebody who doesn't successfully knit socks, I have a lot of sock yarn. I bought a lot of Filcolana, the Arwetta yarn, and in many different colors. A lot of neutral, like, I don't know, this isn't a neutral shade, but, you know, nice colors. A lot of nice colors that I was very excited to have socks with, you know, and it's been in my stash. So I broke this one out, and inspired by her sample, I didn't have a nice teal and terracotta yarn like she did, but I was inspired by that combination, and I saw this yarn right here and this yarn, and I thought maybe together would this look really nice? I'm not sure. So this yarn right here I actually got from the US in 2018. Was it? No, 2019. Yeah, in 2019, I picked this up. Or was it 2020? Doesn't matter. Anyway, I've had this in my stash for a really long time. I got it in the US from Hobby Lobby, which, say whatever you want about Hobby Lobby, but it's a craft store. And I was just walking through it and saw that they had some skeins of yarn that just looked really great, and the price was very cheap, and I was surprised. And so I purchased some. Anyway, I had it caked up because I wanted to knit something with it, and I never did. And so this has been sitting in a cake for a really long time. And this right here, I've already explained. The two of them together, I thought, you know, maybe that could really work kind of similar to what she did. And I'm so into this, guys. Look how beautiful this is right now. Check this out. I really love I really love this. More so than I thought I was going to. It's really marling together so beautifully. I think I'm really gonna love these socks. There's just some, like these jewel tones, like really rich, earthy jewel tones together. I just really love it. I'm so excited about this sock. And yeah, I'm just really happy because I'm not really good at picking out colors, I think, to kind of play together like that. And I've been very curious about mixing a darker color with mohair, which I'll talk about in a minute. So seeing this combination together really gets me excited because it just looks really beautiful. It looks very festive, and there's something about it that is very familiar to me. I have no idea what it is, but I keep looking at it. This like fiery red with this, I want to say like petroleum blue. It's kind of greenish as well, but I would say petroleum blue, these two together. It's very festive, but not in your face. So I think these are really gonna be great like holiday socks, and a lot of fun to be working up as we get closer to like Thanksgiving. But I hope when Thanksgiving comes and goes, I'll be done with these because I actually, hopefully, depending on how these go, this is a night of knitting. Depending on how these go, I will potentially enter in her little challenge. So apparently over the Thanksgiving holiday, she's doing a knitting challenge with this pattern right here. It's like a 4-day challenge where you try and knit a pair of socks. I don't really participate in cals or anything like that, but I think I might try. If I successfully cast on and finish these socks before then, I might consider trying the challenge this year. Because again, this is a great way for me to get through some of the sock yarn that I have. And it's a lot of fun to play with color. With this marl right here, I really love a good marled yarn. I always admire it in Instagram photos and such. It's just, like I said, not very good with color, so I always second guess myself, pairing colors together, yarns together, holding things together. Normally I just go for solid colors. But I really want to branch out in that area, and I think this has been a really great way to dip my toes into it because this combination is very successful. So it's a little similar to what she did for the sample, so I was confident that this could potentially work out, but I'm kind of blown away and very excited about how well it really did turn out together. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to knit on these. I stole this needle set from the shawl that I was working on, so I think that shawl won't get worked on until this sock at least is done. So those are my whips. That's what I've been working on. And I'm really happy. Yeah, and even though I am overwhelmed by the amount of yarn, I just got finished saying that, I have some acquisitions to share with you guys. But I couldn't let this pass me by. So like I said, have been really interested in the idea of pairing a really dark base with color and seeing how that works out. And this definitely made me confident in my decision to potentially work up something with what I am about to show you. So I don't know if you're familiar with Melanie from Big Little Yarn Co. She's a hand dyer based in Japan. And I've been following her for a while, and I really love the things that she produces. I think she's very talented, and she has a great eye for color as well. And I've purchased from her in the past and have been really happy with some of the yarn that she's produced. The ones that I purchased, I was really happy with it. Love the colors, and yeah, I wanted to support her again when she did her spooky summer collection. So she did a full collection on with yarn based off of scary movies, like her favorite scary movies, like The Grudge or The Ring, different things. And surprisingly, the one that I was most attracted to is a movie that I've never seen. So I'm not familiar with the movie Hereditary, but I really, really loved the colorway that she chose to represent that movie, which is this right here. I just really love all of these colors, especially the rusty red and then this blue. I was definitely thinking that the blue was going to be a little bit deeper, but I just think it's based off of the base, the yarn, that the fiber that she dyed it with. On some of the other bases, it definitely came out a lot darker, but I'm still very, very happy with all of this together. I just think all of these colors together are so beautiful, and I'm really excited to see how they look all knitted up. This is Surrey silk lace, which I'm very excited to use. That was another thing that made me want to go ahead and purchase this yarn. That was what really solidified it for me. Not only did I think that the colors were beautiful, I also wanted to give this fiber a try because I've heard really great things about Surrey alpaca, and I've never knit with it before. One thing in particular that I've heard about it is that it regulates temperature a lot better than mohair does. So like I'm sitting here kind of getting a little hot because mohair just keeps you so warm. Whereas I've heard that Surrey alpaca kind of regulates heat a little bit better, so you don't get as hot and as warm in a sweater knit with Surrey alpaca as you would with mohair. Only way for me to know if that's true is to knit something up and wear it. So that's exactly what I want to do. I bought a sweater's quantity because what I want to do, what I envision with this, is to work up actually this fiber knit with maybe something of a similar color like this and see how the colors play over top of that really dark base. I think that would make such a moody, beautiful sweater. And I'm just excited about that. I was inspired by another dyer. Her name is Taylor, I believe, from the Wool Needles Hands podcast. I know that she owns Fiber for the People, which is a US-based dyeing company. She's a hand dyer. She's a one-woman show. So Fiber for the People on Instagram. And then on YouTube, she does Wool Needles Hands. That's a podcast that I've been following for a really long time, and she just recently started posting again, so she also is a good person to catch up with fairly regularly. The production quality of her videos are very good. And what she did was actually knit up a no-frills sweater with a similar concept. The yarn is kind of similar colors, actually, but a little bit different. Anyway, the concept is the same, using a very colorful mohair paired with a dark base. And I really loved how that sweater turned out. So I wanted to give that a try myself, and of course support a hand dyer that I really love and appreciate. So definitely check out Big Little Yarn Co. Check out Fiber for the People. And their podcasts. Melanie also does a podcast. It's the Cozy Cardigan podcast. And yeah, that's my first acquisition. Secondly, I got some very fun mail, and I'm a little behind on this, so I wanted to share with you guys the knit crates that I've gotten over the last month or two. I really love these two fibers for completely different reasons. These colors are great. First of all, this is the one for this past month. I think I'm a month behind, so this would be for October. Just because I'm based in Europe, I think I am a month behind. This one right here, it's a dusty purple. This is definitely the dusty purple that I was envisioning this sweater would be, but I think it's really gorgeous. So this one is Coquette. It's 65% superwash merino, 35% Surrey alpaca, and it's a worsted weight yarn. It's very, very soft. I really love it. But it's not too soft where it's overly squishy. It has more integrity to it. It's definitely what I'm feeling in comparison to this yarn. This one is also very, very soft, super squishy. It feels a little less solid, if that makes sense. This feels very fluid. I don't know if anyone's used those words to describe fiber before. I'm not a fiber expert, but that's just what I would say. But let me finish talking about this. yeah, there's it's a worsted weight yarn. There's 205 meters per 100 grams. I just think this is beautiful. I really love everything about it. And I have no idea what I would knit with it, but I did just get it in the mail, so I haven't had time to really dream. But I definitely think something gorgeous is going to be made out of this yarn. Oh, yeah, I really love it. This, so each month Knit Crate has a theme. And this one I think was like Pop Dreams. Something kind of disco-y. And there's multiple colors for each theme, but you don't get to choose the colors. It kind of is a surprise. So that's the beauty or the downfall of a subscription box, is that you don't really know what's going to come. So there are sometimes it's a hit and sometimes it's a miss. This one definitely is a hit for me, as well as this one right here. So this one was from September, I want to say. And this one, it was a Western Sunset, which I thought was a really cool theme. And I really love this. It's like a greenish gray. But it's got a lot of dimension, this fiber here. So there's some gray, there's some like beige, green. It's really gorgeous. So this is 80% alpaca and 20% tencel. So yeah, it's very fluid because of the tencel, I think. And of course the alpaca. It's a bulky weight yarn. So 114 meters for 100 grams. I can really envision a beautiful cabled hat, and I think that's what I want to knit myself with this yarn. I was thinking that it would be nice with cables. And with that bulky weight, it would be a fairly chunky, easy to knit project for me to kind of crank out for myself for winter, because it is getting cool fast, and before I know it, I'm gonna really need to be bundling up, and I don't really have a nice hat for myself. I need a new one. Anyway, yeah, I really love both of these yarns. So like I said, Knit Crate is a subscription box that you get delivered to your door each month. It's a mystery, and it's a lot of fun, I think, to discover new fibers. It's a great way to discover new fibers, things that you might not pick out for yourself. That's definitely for me. What I'm experiencing, there's a lot of fiber that I've never knit with before, and in some different colorways that kind of challenge myself a little bit. For someone who likes specific colors, it's nice sometimes to receive something a little bit out of the box and kind of envision how that would be in, how you would incorporate that in your making journey. It's not always a success, I will say, but so far I've been really happy with everything that I've received, and I think that the quality is amazing as well. One thing I was thinking about is for subscription boxes, it would be a really great gift for the holiday season. If you have a maker in your life that obviously you don't really want to knit something for because they can always make it for themselves, it's always kind of challenging, I think. What do you get the maker? This could be a lot of fun to gift somebody. So I have a discount code in the description that you can use to sign up if you're interested. Only if you're interested. I do want to let you guys know that I am an affiliate member. So if you sign up using my code, I do receive a small commission based on that, and this is actually a really great way to support me and the channel and the continuation of this content. So if you do that, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Yeah, so that's basically everything. All of my acquisitions, all of my projects, finished objects. I had a lot to share with you guys. I'm really, really surprised by that. I'm really happy that I was able to sit down and chat with you guys about everything that I've been working on. Some projects that I'm really excited about. Really happy to have off my needles and on my needles. And I think I'm gonna meet some deadlines, which is really great, which is a relief. I hope you guys are doing really well, and whatever you're working on, if you're making something for the holiday season, I hope you're not getting too stressed out. I hope you've planned it in a way that you're gonna be meeting those deadlines and getting those Christmas gifts out of the way, or whatever holiday you celebrate. I just appreciate you guys knitting on those with me. So thank you guys for clicking on this video and catching up with me. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and maybe subscribe if you want to stick around. I would love to have you here each time that I upload. I know I said actually that I wouldn't be catching up with you guys until, you know, the new year, but I will pop in here maybe twice a month if I can manage. So not quite so regular, but more regular than nothing at all. So I appreciate you guys and your support. And until next time, happy knitting!